A working-class girl from the 21st century, Rose Tyler had the daunting task of being the first companion of a new series, much like Grace Holloway before her. But unlike Grace, Rose had far more time to be developed, a whole 2 seasons, and was thus a far more interesting character. In addition, Rose brought more new elements to the series, whereas Grace was pretty generic. For instance, Rose was the first companion to have a life outside of traveling in the TARDIS, in the form of her mother Jackie and her ex-boyfriend Mickey, the latter of whom would later become a companion as well. This made Rose the most human out of all the companions up until that point, as a large part of her character was how her travels were separating her from her friends and family. This added a touch of realism that was absent in the classic series, and was a good method of updating the show for a new generation. Another new element was Rose's sense of humor. She was one of the first female companions to also be allowed to be comic relief, which was previously reserved for either the Doctor or the male companions. One element Rose inherited from her predecessor was a romantic interest in the Doctor, although it was handled quite differently. For starters, it took Rose roughly a year to even acknowledge how she felt about the Doctor, rather than it being love at first sight. Another shift was the implication that the Doctor reciprocated her feelings, as you'll see in Rose's goodbye scene.
Am I ever gonna see you again?
You can't.
What are you gonna do?
I've got a TARDIS. Same old life, last of the Time Lords.
On your own. I love you.
Quite right too. And I suppose if it's my last chance to say it, Rose Tyler.
While it was implied in the past that the Doctor had feelings for some of his female companions, the implications were not nearly as explicit as this. One issue I did take with that sad goodbye I just showed you is that while it is effective, the series does it again, not once, but twice over the next few years. I mean, I loved Rose as a character, but if you're going to end a story arc, try actually ending it. Thankfully, number 3 was her final goodbye, and they actually managed to make it kind of clever, with the Doctor going back in time to before they met and wishing her a Happy New Year. And while actress Billie Piper also returned in the 50th anniversary last month, it was only as a machine taking the form of Rose, not actually as her, which was also very clever. Overall, Rose resulted in great change for the show's female characters, both for better and for worse. While she did give us a more realistic and complex companion, she also started a rather problematic trend with the female companions, one which I will explain in greater depth next time.